In this video, we explained the concepts of exploring rooms and placing transfer gates in Arc Awakening. We start with the basic setup of 2 players. On all revealed room tiles, we have placed explore tokens. So let's say green player is first, and as their first action, they take the move. As noted here, they can move to rooms. The first move ends, well, at least passes through a room with the explore token. And what we do is immediately pause the action that we're doing and take the explore action. And the explore action is pretty simple. We flip the explore token. It usually shows a reward. In this case, there is no reward. So take that. And next, we take a room tile from the deck, put an explore token on it, and place it next to that room. So this and this are both valid places to place that room tile. Let's put it there. Then the explore action is immediate, so we have to actually pause the current action that we're taking. After we complete the explore action, we continue with the movement, and as noted here, this unit can move 2. So with the second move, it moves into the just newly explored tile, and it's completely valid to do this. And again, we flip the explore token. Okay, in this case, we have a reward, which is a card, and we would just draw a card there. And again, we take a room, place a new explore token on that room, and the newly room can be has to be placed next, adjacent to where we have taken the explore token. Obviously, it cannot be placed outside the borders, and it cannot be placed on top of some other tile. Right now, this is a valid place to place it here, and it's the only valid place. So here we actually can't place it because there is this 2x2 rule, which states that you cannot place a room tile that would form a 2x2 matrix. So in this case, this would be invalid placement. We have to place that room over there. With this, the green player turn ends, and next is the red player. The red player takes the root power action, takes this power cylinder and places it over there. The explore action is taken when any game piece, and that includes units, cylinders, or cubes, is moved into a room with the explore token. So in this case, we moved a power cylinder, and again, we take the explore action. This token is flipped. In this case, there is a reward, metamorphite, that is taken from the supply. And again, red player would pick a room, place a new explore token on it, and place it around that room. And let's say we place it over here. Next is green player again, and green player would take the root action and place a cylinder there. So right now there's no explore action triggered because there's no explore token in that room. Then red player would take an action, and let's say the action is to produce one metamorphite. As a next action, green player moves again and moves this meeple once. Takes that explore token, and right now we should place a new tile, but placing that tile both here and here would form a 2x2 grid, and here also would form a 2x2 grid. So actually in this case we don't place a tile. Hence it could happen that there is no valid place to place the next room. It could even happen that there is no room to place as the room deck is empty. In both of these cases, you would take the explore action and you would flip the explore token and take the reward, but the explore action stops there. Placing transfer gates is an event that is triggered when the last room tile is placed. Let's say that green player moves the unit there and places the last room tile here. That's the only valid position. So with this, the event to place transport gates is triggered. First, the current player, green player, plays out the remainder of their turn. And we call this player Last Explorer. Next, the game is paused, and we go round and round the table, and each player places one transport gate. This starts with the Last Explorer, in this case green player, and finishes when there are no more valid places to put transport gates. So green player picks a transport gate, and it can be placed anywhere. So you don't have to have a game piece next to the room that you want to place, but it has to be placed next to a room. For example, you can't place the transport gate over there because it just doesn't have a room next to it, and you can't place it outside the borders. You also can't place it in a way that would form a 2x2 matrix. And the last rule is that it must have 4 or more distance from another transport gate. In this case, there are 1, 2, 3 rooms between these two transport gates, so it's an invalid position. This, however, is a valid position as there are 1, 2, 3, 4 rooms between these transport gates. Next, red player would place a transport gate to any valid position. This would be an invalid position because there'll be just 0 distance between these two transport gates. This would be a valid position as there's actually infinite distance between these two transport gates. They're not connected. Again, green player would place the next transport gate. This is a invalid position as there's 1 room between those. This is a valid position as there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rooms. You must place a transport gate if there's a valid position. It is perfectly fine to place a transport gate at a position that would be beneficial to you. And placing transport gates continues until there are no more valid places. Most probably not all players would place equal number of transport gates. Next is red player. And there's only 1 left valid place for a transport gate. After there are no more valid places for transport gates, you need to check if units can reach all rooms of the arc. In this case, if a green player wants to go to these rooms, it can reach using this transport gate and then moving from that transport gate to this one and then going to those rooms. At the end of the video, I'll show a scenario where this is not the case. But right now, all the rooms are reachable with the help of transport gates. So the game is unpaused and continues from the player next to Last Explorer. Last Explorer was green player, so the game continues with red player. In this scenario, after placing transport gates to all valid positions, there are still rooms on the board that are unreachable by units, and even if these units would use transport gates. Hence, we actually must break the before mentioned rules in order to connect these rooms to the rest of the board. So Last Explorer may actually ignore both the 2x2 and the 4 rooms between constraints and place a transport gate